Hi, everybody.
Don't ever let them tell you that you're worth nothing, that you have nowhere to go.
A young Indianapolis woman who says she was brutalized at the hands of her boyfriend is sharing her story tonight. She says the man she once considered her Prince Charming choked her, bit her, and beat her until she blacked out. Now, I want to warn you, the images you're about to see are disturbing, but as she lies in a hospital bed recovering from that brutal attack, she hopes her message will help others who may be suffering in silence. Eyewitness News reporter Emily Longnecker is at Eskenazi Hospital tonight with her story. Emily?
Well, John, Carly Hager's got a long road of healing in front of her. We spoke with her today here at Eskenazi Hospital after her family shared her story first on social media. They say they hope it will help other abuse victims, but a warning again, the pictures you are about to see, the words you are about to hear are disturbing.
He was Prince Charming. I fell in love with him instantly.
But 25-year-old Carly Hager says she never imagined her Prince Charming, the man she hoped to someday marry, would turn violent. But police say that's just what happened when Ryan Cameron attacked her last Saturday, among other things, nearly ripping out her tongue.
From here to here, the right side all the way, and it immediately started pouring blood, and I freaked out, was screaming even harder, and he tried to suffocate me with my own blood. He put his hand right here and plugged my nose, and I couldn't breathe.
Just hours earlier, says Carly, the couple had been celebrating at a wedding. Some of their friends had even come to the house afterwards and were there when Carly says Ryan started berating her.
Started calling me names like an F and B, C word. And then he proceeded to tell his friends that if they ever wanted to F me, here was their opportunity.
It wasn't the first time Carly says her boyfriend had verbally abused her or even hit her. She says she tried to stop the verbal attack by just going to bed. This time, though, that only made things worse.
He ran back to our room and locked our door and started to choke me in my sleep. His friends came back to our room, busted our door down, got him out.
Somehow, though, Carly says Ryan broke free from his friends, locked them out of the house, and came after her.
Came back to the bathroom where I was and told me to stop screaming, told me to shut up, and then proceeded to reach with his fingers and ripped my tongue halfway out.
After that, Carly says she blacked out. She remembers the police coming and them taking her out of the house. 3 days later, Carly's remembering more and realizing the brutality of her wounds.
He bit the tip of my ear off. He tried to bite my nose off. He tried to bite my fingers off. I had bite marks up and down my back, on my butt. He bit my neck.
Despite the trauma, the 25-year-old nursing assistant is speaking out about her attack and the slippery slope that abusive relationships can go down.
Don't ever let them tell you that you're worth nothing, that you have nowhere to go. Don't let them take your spirits away from you, tell you that you're not pretty, that you can't do anything, hang out with your friends, that you can't do anything in this world, because that's not a man, that's not somebody who loves you.
Ryan Cameron is behind bars tonight facing several charges, among them domestic battery and strangulation. Carly Hager told us she is not going to stop speaking out about her story. She hopes it will empower others to break free of an abusive relationship. We'll have Carly's full interview posted on WTHR.com. We thought it was an important enough story that you should hear the whole interview. Carly certainly wanted to be heard, and we wanted to give her that opportunity. John?
All right, thank you, Emily Longnecker, tonight. Now, Channel 13 is committed to shattering the silence on domestic violence. If you or someone you know is in trouble, go to WTHR.com and click on Shattering the Silence on our community page. We have important information posted on the warning signs and the resources available to those in need of help and support. He is committed to shattering the silence.
hello. Hi, I'm your assistant co-host Tennise with Spicy Gray, the Unspoken Heart Discussion Hour. We're going to be discussing um, domestic violence. This is Domestic Violence Month. Um, I'm here with our beautiful, beautiful Keisha and our King D. It's also to remind you that we to put in your hearts for our raffle prizes. And right now we're going to go into introduce our special guest, Chef Tish, a phenomenal woman, military lady that had one great career in the military, and also a phenomenal chef. Chef
Hello. How y'all doing?
Hello.
I'm nervous, so I need your help.
Yes, I'm going to help. So, Miss Tish, Lordy, I'm so happy to see you today, and I'm happy for you to be here for this special of your phenomenal career as a military lady, and also being a chef, and also a wonderful mother and a wife. So she is a beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
They took it all the way back.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So to go into your life a little bit, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and starting with the military? And what made you want to go into the military?
I've always been that kid who did what people said I couldn't do. So joining the military because people said I wasn't gonna make it. So I joined, right after high school. And it was very tough. It was very hard. I wasn't ready. I was raised by military parents. So I don't know why in my head I thought if I leave home and let me go join the military because I don't want to listen to my parents no more. I had to listen to someone. So here we are.
So with that being said, how did you cope with being in the military? Because I know it's tough for women to be in the military. And
I don't think I coped. I definitely was on the side of the fence where I pushed the envelope and I challenged a lot of things because I was never the type of person who just because you say it, that means it's the truth. So I definitely had a challenging military, 14 years in the military, actually. Probably shouldn't have lasted 14 years because I never was able to grasp that concept of being, speak when spoken to and correct it. And just, I was always against the grain type of woman. So, but I did 14 years.
And I like to thank you for your service.
Thank you. I guess I would say I never knew how to respond to when people say thank you because the military is what got me through everything. Because when I saw that if I can accomplish this, I can accomplish anything. Because I was not military ready at all.
But you did it. Right. You did it.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so with being it's a big jump between being from military to being a chef. What made you want to be a chef?
Well, my military career started off with like administrative type of work. I did postal, and then I switched over to food service. So I actually was food service in the Army. And I've always loved cooking. It was just something I always loved doing. Both my grandmothers were, that's what they did. When everything needed to be calm and they want everybody to come together, they'll cook. So, and I was that one that was in the kitchen watching. So I've always cooked.
So, who would you say would be your biggest inspiration in you cooking in the first place?
It would probably be my dad, because he's kind of competitive in that sense. He's a very good cook himself, but his mother is the reason why I do what I do. But my dad can cook too. Like, he can throw down.
It's in the family, huh?
Yeah, it's in my blood.
What would you say would be your favorite, you think is superb dish?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with my ribs, and then I'm gonna have to go with my peach cobbler pound cake.
Look at them.
So those are my two signature. I would call it signature dish. That I just kind of fell on those two dishes and just listen to my customers, and everyone speaks about the ribs. Everyone speaks about the peach cobbler pound cake. Miss Spicy love my lemon pepper wings. So whatever, I feel like whatever I do, I'm doing it from a place where I love it, you know, and I know that this could be someone's first meal, their only meal, or their last meal. So I'm gonna give it my all. And it's not about me, you know.
Wow. Well, with that being said, with the cooking, but can I get a plate? Can I just get a plate?
Absolutely. I'm going to feed everybody on the panel at least once.
Oh, that looked delicious. That did.
Thank you.
And stuff. So, with that being said, to go back to the military, what was your rank in the military?
It was E5. I did a lot. Like I said, I should have probably been, if I would have listened and did right, I probably should have retired as an E8. But I was very rebellious. And I stood my ground. So I was that person that if it wasn't by regulation, then I needed them to prove it to me. So they would call me more combative or that angry black woman type thing. But I wanted to buy the book. You know, if the regulation don't state it, then you can't force it. So if you speak up too much, then they'll slow you down from getting your rank. So.
Oh my.
But here we are.
Tisha, y'all have any questions for her?
And just listening to you talk, I can tell when you first started talking that you said that you want to prove people wrong. So you're a self-motivator. So
Absolutely.
You know how to basically just self-motivate yourself to basically to get it done. So you came from the military. Now you're a wonderful chef. So that's just very inspiring to me.
Right.
Thank you.
Because to have, if you was waiting on somebody to support you or say, go get it, go do it, a lot of times I didn't have that. So what motivated me was when somebody told me I could not do it. So I had to prove them wrong. So that's just the way I've been my whole life.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background as far as you growing up as a child all the way up to the moment you went to the military?
I'm originally from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I'm a Roll Tide fan. It's all about Roll Tide for me. Anybody that know me knows it's Roll Tide. It was typical. You live in Alabama, just either you're on one side or you're on the other. You know, I come from a background where everything was pretty much swept under the rug, and we don't talk about it, and you just figure it out on your own. Now I'm a 44-year-old woman, and a lot of those things that was swept under the rug is created the reason why I'm on this show right here now, because I didn't know my worth. I didn't feel like I mattered. So with all that being said, I'm not a product of my background. You know, I wanted to break that. I wanted to break that chain. I wanted to break people saying I wasn't going to be nobody. I wasn't going to be nothing. You know, I had to prove, because I raised two daughters, so I had to prove that no matter what people say about you or put on your life, that doesn't mean that's your destiny. So that's why I'm still pushing now. Because if anybody that really knew me growing up, I shouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, ma'am, and we're glad you are.
Right.
But I want to know, where did you, I know I'm jumping a little bit everywhere, a little
It's
bit,
okay.
because pop in here and there. But I want to know, where did you go to for your culinary arts?
I actually went to two culinary schools. I went, one was Le Cordon Bleu, and one was Escoffier in Austin. I went back in 2013, and I wasn't mentally ready, but I wanted to do something because I was, still trying to transition out of the military. And then once I moved to Texas, and I don't want to jump ahead either, but I had someone who has pushed me thus far. And now I went back to culinary school because I knew I wasn't in a place to really receive all the education I needed at the time I went the first time. So I went back and did it again. And I graduated in 2000, right when COVID happened. Top of the class, didn't have to have an actual graduation because of COVID, but I'm about to actually walk the stage December 21st from completing that course again.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I can already tell the she's just you're the type of woman that does not like the word no. You cannot hear the word no. You hate the word no. That's really motivating. That's very motivating.
Yes, it is.
So proud of
And
you.
it's beautiful to see. It's
Right.
beautiful to see our people stepping up and making a way for themselves and becoming such business mind people. And I wish we had more people like you.
Right. It's in all of us. It's in all of us. It's not easy. It's a very lonely world. And then you have to be able to accept and receive people that you never expected to be in your life so you can be who you really are. Because the people we think were supposed to be with us, they won't be with us because we have to shift and change to be the person we're supposed to be. So
Yes,
a lot of those people can't go along with us because they won't allow you to grow.
yes.
So it's lonely. It's lonely, but you have a few of them that's there, you know?
You know, 5, 10 years old, all your friends and stuff, that people you work with, they all drop off slowly. And
Yeah.
because you're right, because of your change. And some people can't grow with you, but they're there for a reason
Right.
to
Right.
get to the point where you are now.
Right. That's a good statement.
Yes. So with that
And
being
then it's lonely.
huh?
It's lonely on the top.
Yeah.
It's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
But you don't always have to be by yourself though.
Right. You can be lonely and have a whole bunch of people around you.
Yes.
You know?
Yo, that's
What I don't want is a whole bunch of people around me that's not who I need to have around me. I want to sit at the table with people that I don't want to be to be sitting at the table with. That's what you don't want to do.
Right.
no,
Right.
you don't want no eaters. All they want to do is eat off of you. So with that being said, you are a wife. So,
I am now. I've always been a wife. I never if you want to have kids with me, you had to marry me. So
yeah.
I've been married 3 times, and my 2 previous marriages were my domestic violence. But the husband I have now, baby, that's him right there.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
The world knows
that-
how many you got?
I'm sorry.
Do you have children? Can you let the world
Me
know?
and him don't have children together, but equally to total together, we have 7 children. Did I say it right? No, 6 children, 7 grandbabies, and 1 on the way. So 8 grandbabies.
Yes. I'm not mad at
Snatch grandma.
Yeah.
Congratulations again. You getting all the congratulations. You just
That's a lot.
a busy woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 7 kids.
Okay.
How do y'all
also,
manage all of that? How do y'all manage?
Well, everyone has their moment. Everyone has their time. Everyone has their space. So as each grandchild needs us, we handle them accordingly. You know,
Right.
all the kids are grown except one. We have one still at home, and that's my twin. and she's the baby out of everybody, but everyone else is grown, and we want to make sure they all handle their business the best way they know how, but they're not at it alone. So we are those grandparents. Like, if you have nobody else, we got you.
Yeah, exactly.
So we will
Right
be.
now, I'm sorry, y'all. We're gonna have to go to a commercial break, and we'll come back with Miss Tish the chef.
Yay!
I had my daughter 2006. That's when I got hurt. She's 8 years old now. That's my heart. I love that little lady so much. We have a real strong bond. I guess because she was my child and she liked to take care of me so much. Make me feel special. Somebody loved me. She couldn't stay in the hospital with me, so by me seeing her, that was like one of the hardest parts. You know, being paralyzed, I really didn't care about that. It happened August 19th, around 1. Her dad was looking for me. I no longer wanted to date him. So he seen me on Albemarle Road. Turned around, pulled out the gun, and started firing. When he shot me, it threw me in the street by the gutter. And I was in and out of it. I asked my mother, I'm like, Mom, why am I in the hospital? She was like, Mia, you got shot. I was like, Mom, am I paralyzed? She was like, yeah, Mia, you're paralyzed. I said, no, I'm not, because I still could do this dance. And this is what I did. I was like,
What gives you so much strength?
yeah, the power of a survivor is just, you gotta keep moving on. You know, you can't get nowhere if you stay in the same place. If you wake up the next day, you know you can keep going on. And there's a lot of resources out here, so Pearl's Sisters of Love, they will get a lot of love. If one person to just listen to one of our stories, it could be saving their life. We just encourage others before it get too late. You know, you can get help and help someone else.
And that's what you're doing?
Yes.
Hi, it's your girl, Chef Tish. I am the owner of Tisha's Homestyle Cooking. You can reach me for all your catering needs, baking needs at 210-414-7718.
Back to the Spicy Grade, the Unspoken Heart Discussion Hour. We're talking about domestic violence, and we're with Miss Matisha, Chef Tish Baker. So, in the last session, we was talking about how your life began and where you are now. Now, we want to go ahead and kind of touch on your moments of domestic violence, what you have to deal with, and what went on with you as far as your first and your second relationships?
Well, I was young when the first one started. It was both of them were very traumatic. I'm just gonna kind of run them together because I didn't have a break in between the abuse. It was just ongoing.
So how old were you when the first relationship started?
I would had to been 23 when I first was hit.
Were there any warning signs or anything like that that gave you any indications that he was violent?
With the first one, like I said, when I first got hit, that's when I knew, like, he pretty much, it was in the facial area, and we were overseas. We both was in the military. I had to go to work the next day, and you couldn't hide it. It was just kind of right there in your face that, oh, somebody hit you. And I didn't leave. I stayed. Ended up getting pregnant right after. And it was ongoing until I was able to get away.
Wow. How long did you stay in that? I mean, how long was that relationship with this particular person?
We were together from 97 to 99, I believe. My daughter was born in 2000. So before she was born, we was already, separated. We was married, and we was only married a year and already separated, but we was married total for 8 years. And I left at that first year. I had to move state to state to find a state where we was married in North Carolina, and North Carolina laws back then it wasn't really domestic violence laws that was set in place. So a lot of the stuff that I was going through, it didn't have any law, legal, illegal bearing behind it. Then 99, 2000 came, and it still was going on. I had to I took a break from the military to get away from this guy. We went through, as they called it, the military court. I think the last incident was because he left his fingerprints on my face, and I had to go into PT the next morning. And my first arm was like, okay, that's enough. That's it. And being a soldier, being in the military, a lot of that stuff is almost like, not saying it happens often than it should, and with saying it happened often than it should. And typically it's more like a 72-hour separation from the one that's causing the abuse. So you got 72 hours to be away from him. And then after those 72 hours, he's back at the house. And, so it was tough.
There was no support from the military at this time?
No, not at all. Not at all. So, and a lot of people that knew me, my close people, they were like, why wouldn't you tell me? Because who I reported to were the people who were supposed to help. So if they didn't help, why would I tell my friends?
Right. What was his rank? Do you think his rank had something to
Not
do?
At that time.
No.
Not at that time. I mean, he was, by the time him and I ended, he was only allowed the E6 rank. And it's because I did fight it, and we had to go to court. And how the military handled it was like, if you do this to anybody else, then you would get put out the military. It was a choice. What do you want to do? Do you want to press charges? Do you want to get them put out the military? Do you want, they kind of asking me what I want. And now, mind you, I'm still young. Like, I'm still already dealing with all this, trying to figure out what's going on, and I just really wanted to be left alone. Whatever's going to make it easier for me to transition from getting away from him, that's what I wanted. And it wasn't easy. I left the military, went back to my hometown. He still found me. He still came, now I have his child. So here we are. It was never getting away from it.
Oh, wow. So when did that particular relationship, when did it finally end with him in particular?
Because I found my new abuser and I was pregnant by him. And that's when the first guy was like, okay, I'll divorce you now.
Oh, it was just that easy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So he was done once I was pregnant with my second child. He signed those papers. So we was divorced on February 14th, 2015.
Wow.
2005. I'm sorry. 2005 was when he finally signed those paperwork. And then I had my second daughter and married her dad immediately right after.
Wow. Did you ever fight back? Did you fight back with these guys?
Oh, definitely. I'm a fighter. I don't take no for an answer, you know. And I think a lot of times I blame myself for how intense it got because of how intense I fought back.
Wow.
So I believe a lot of that stuff was because she won't give up, you know. So if I laid there and took it, I would be dead.
It was more so a situation where who has the power, who's the strongest, who's
right.
I get it.
Right. And
it sounds like
I'm more of an alpha female. I'm an alpha female. I'm very dominant, very independent, very strong-minded, not a weak individual. So when someone tries to put me in a box, I don't respond to that well. So for those guys at that time, they felt that was the only way to control me. Because that was the strongest way to control me was you're going to have to be in my face and put me in a place where, you know, I'm broke down. I can't fight back. I don't have nothing left.
At any point, did any of these gentlemen, did you end up in the hospital at any time?
Oh, yeah, I did. One left me. Well, they both left me for dead, but one situation left me for dead to where I was unconscious for at least 4 or 5 days, I believe. And what I remember up until that point is what I remember. And then everything else is from doctors and the state, the military of what happened to me that night. So, yeah, I've been hospitalized several times.
Wow.
It's so brutal. Like for someone to be in the hospital for that long, that's very brutal.
He let when I was in the hospital that particular time, I was still, like I said, I was still in the military. They were banned off the military post because domestic violence had already been noticed. The army, some of the people in the army knew that I was being abused. So you had some people trying to help, some people not caring. You know, it was a bad, weird timing. And when I'm left unconscious, my oldest daughter, she was 5, kindergarten, first grade, and she was the reason why the police got involved because she heard what was going on. When she finally heard it got quiet, she ran to the neighbors and they called the police. And from that point, that's when the police came in. They found me, took me to the hospital. My kids were in custody, you know, with someone who take in kids in that situation. So I'm here in one city and my kids are an hour and 45 minutes away. So when I wake up, I don't know where they're at. I don't know what's going on because he tried to pull my oldest daughter out of school. So I'm trying to worry about the kids and figure out what was going on. But I'm not able to even, when they say it's been 4 days, ma'am, the kids are good right now. We've been waiting on you to wake up.
Wow. Tish, did you have any outside support, like your parents or anybody other than the military?
No.
So you had to kind of rely on the help you were getting.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much, when I did tell somebody, it wasn't because I was seeking out for help. It was just more so I couldn't hide it no more. And there's only so many people that was close to me. So I had so many people that was that close to me to know that she's been abused. And it took one of those people to finally say she's been abused for the military to really come in and help, because now someone's reported it as I've witnessed her being abused. And
Wow.
that's when I fully got the military support. And that was when I was stationed at Fort Gordon. So I had already been to a couple of duty stations with being abused before somebody just finally just stood in front of me and said, you will never hit her again. You know, and it took that. It took that.
From the second one to the second one with going on with getting out of his grasp. Can you tell us about that part where the second husband?
The second one, and to be honest, I feel a lot of guilt with that one because he was murdered. And at the time, the military sent me to Iraq because the last attack from him was so bad. They felt like I would be safer at war. So when I came back a few months later, he was murdered. And I remember praying, like, just let me be able to get away from this situation. You know, I didn't want to have to go through whatever that situation was again, because it was hard to get away from. He wasn't nothing to play with, you know. He wasn't nothing to play with. And when he got killed, I felt guilty because I felt like even he did not deserve to die in that manner. No matter what he did to me, he didn't deserve that death. So I could never really get past that situation because he was taken in a way that I don't feel no one deserved to be taken, you know, to be killed. Like no one.
Life.
And that's my daughter's father. So great father, not so good as a husband, but great father, you know, and he had children, and for them to just, you know, I would never get over his murder, his death. Never.
Okay, y'all, I'm so sorry. You definitely have to went through all that, and you're just a strong woman to go through all that.
People say that, but I have weak points. I've tried to kill myself twice. I've tried to, you know, I've been down those roads. It hasn't been easy. I had to be singled out, no family, or she's lying, or this and that. But thank God for medical records. Thank God for police records. I wouldn't wish it on no one, and I wouldn't want to have to tell a story that I hadn't went through. So for me to tell somebody what I physically went through, it's not easy.
No,
it's not easy.
No, it's not. But there is a light.
Can I get a break? I'm sorry, I need a break.
There is a light at the end of this rainbow. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about the love of her life after this commercial break.
If you have ever been in a dark place, then we hope this next story will help you find hope. It's about a mother who lost her son in the most unthinkable way. She will never move on, but sharing her story has helped her find some peace. Rebecca Lopez explains in this WFAA original.
Dan and I started dating in '94.
They look like the perfect couple. Andrea Pylant Whalen and Daniel Bevel met in 1994 and married shortly after.
And we both came from a very good family background.
Andrea's family were traveling gospel singers, even performing on television. She says life seemed great until she got pregnant.
And then once I became pregnant, he became very jealous of Dylan.
Andrea says her husband became both verbally and physically abusive after their son Dylan was born.
He felt like that Dylan was taking time away from him. He got really jealous when I was nursing Dylan, That's when it really became noticeable that he didn't want me and Dylan to be that connected.
She says first came the name calling, then the beatings and choking. One beating was so severe, Andrea blacked out.
He was over me thinking that I was dead. He was crying, saying how sorry he was.
After that, she knew she had to get out or die.
In the middle of the night, I had a diaper bag and I grabbed my son and we left through Dylan's window. We literally went out the window.
Andrea said she called police multiple times after being assaulted, but it was never enough.
Would call the police and they would never arrest him. They would file a police report and say that they'll look into it, and nothing happened until it was too late.
She went into hiding, filed for divorce, and fought for custody. A judge gave Dan Bevel visitation rights, and Andrea couldn't do anything about it. On the first weekend he had Dylan, he did the unthinkable.
He sat on the foot of the bed and he held the rifle to the back of Dylan's back, and with one shot it went through Dylan and went through Dan's heart.
Bevel left a suicide note saying he had also planned on killing Andrea. For months after the murder-suicide, she came here to the gravesite of her son.
Yeah, I used to lay there. There was times where I wouldn't leave for days. Just lay there and not want to leave his side. It was unnatural for me to leave him.
One day, as she sat by his grave, she did some soul searching.
I finally realized that this isn't where he is. So it just kind of, over time, I was healed over the fact of knowing that this was just a body here. And so it didn't really serve its purpose for me to be here anymore. His legacy lives on in my heart, not right here at this cemetery.
She tells her story now because through the darkest days of her life, she held on to her faith.
My faith is the whole reason that got me out of bed every day. Without my faith, I couldn't be the person that I am today.
She has found peace.
I'm living proof that there is hope. Even when you have gone through hell, there is still hope.
She tells her story now to help other victims of domestic violence, but also so that Dylan will live on. Rebecca Lopez, Channel 8 News.
If you are a victim of domestic violence, just one call can help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is open 24/7 every single day. You can also report abuse without ever saying a word. Just log on to thehotline.org.
Hi, welcome back, y'all. This is Tennise. Oh, look what we have here.
This is John P. Baker.
Yes. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Hey, this is the love of your life right here, huh?
Yes, hunty. Now y'all about to get me blushing and stuff.
You have all right to blush.
Y'all are very beautiful company.
Blessed to be all right. Blessed. Totally blessed.
Thank you.
Yes. So, where do we meet the love of your life at?
At Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Actually, Mr. Baker here was one of my supervisors, and of course, I was the rebellious one, and I'm the one that want to break the rules and go against the code. And he was the straight and narrow guy and would not give me the time of day. So, yeah, there you are. I tell people, because he was airborne and all that, so I tell people that his knees finally went out on him, so he can't run no more. So that's how I was able to snatch him up.
Hey, get him the only way you can. Yes. So, can you tell Mr. Baker?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what made you fall in love with Mrs. Baker?
Oh boy.
You had no choice.
Oh.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing. It's a joke.
Well, I fell in love with her because she's a strong Black woman, and the young man was right. She don't take no for an answer. And when she came to me, I was like, "Hey, just stay focused." She said, "I am focused." I was like, "Okay," but her focus was on me. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I was trying to tell her to stay focused and focus on her life. You know, getting her life back together. Mm-hmm.
So she tried to make you a part of it. She was like, I'm getting my life together, but you're gonna be a part of it. That's what's going on.
That part, Casey.
So come on here.
So I understand y'all was friends before y'all became husband and wife.
Yes.
Yes. And you was there to support her through all the trials and tribulations she went through.
Absolutely. I knew one of them because we were all right there in Fort Bragg together. And then when she told me her story, I said, "Well, why you just didn't say nothing to me? Because I could have handled that." She was like, "Well,
yeah, I like him. I like him."
No, and even the other one, she used to call me, and I was like, "Look, just let me get him." She's like, "Nah."
Oh no.
Yeah. and
she needs to be out here with her.
A lot of us, when we're going through domestic violence, people think we're afraid to tell, but it's almost like we care about the people that we're going to bring into that scenario with us. And I never wanted anyone, because some people do get hurt trying to help. So I was one of those ones that I was like, well, I got myself in this situation. I'm going to get myself out of it. So I didn't reveal because I knew I had a whole bunch of soldiers around me who, would have been ready to go all in, but I felt like they were more important to me than to bring them into this place I was in, this confusion that I was in. I don't feel like they deserve to have to be a part of that. So I didn't tell him.
Oh, well.
And he was right there.
You would be right, because a lot of times your friends get hurt trying to help in situations like that. So with that being said, how long have y'all been married?
We've been married 4 years now. When I moved to Texas, I snatched him up. I didn't come here to date. I didn't come here to court. I didn't come here to do any of those things. I knew what I wanted, and that was it. And either he was going to be like, okay, well, I don't know if I want. He was resistant in the beginning, but it didn't last too long, and here we are. I wasn't going anywhere. I was not going to give up that easy. I was not walking away. So
that's
that self-motivation.
Yes,
that's that self-motivation you got, lady. See how that worked for you?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what was that moment you knew that you was going to be with this lady?
The moment was that song by Mary Mary that she always played when she saw me. I can't give up now because I come too far. Where I started from, nobody told me that the road would be easy.
Yeah.
Was it really, Mr. Baker? Was it really like difficult trying to like date a woman with past traumas? I mean, not date, but marry. Within your marriage, did you have to build her up, or with self-esteem, or did you have to work? Did you have to work on her to build her self-esteem or anything up?
I did because it was always a negative undertone. And me, I come from a real close knit family, so that stuff was kind of new to me, and I just told her, I was like, look, I don't have nothing to do with what happened back then. I'm right here. So I'm gonna love you through all those trials and tribulations.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, and Mrs. Baker, did you blame him? Did you take your anger out on him? Because you know, in some marriages and relationships, when people have past traumas and past things going on,
Don't ask
they
her
always
that. Ask me that.
blame.
Well, I think right now it's like, I think right now, have those code words when somebody needs help. He probably want to throw one of them signs up because I probably did become more the aggressor and like he is here by force and not by choice. I'm just joking.
Like it's like Mr. Baker, blink twice if you need help.
Right. Somebody come get him.
Oh my goodness.
That's a blessing.
And this is why it works, because he keeps me going. Like,
yes,
he allows me. When I say allow, he allows me to be myself, because I don't think twice that if I do this or say this, what he's gonna think. I don't even think about how he will feel if I make a mistake. And I said, because sometimes I think in the beginning he used to say I used to be like simple stuff like, I'm sorry that dinner wasn't made, or he would say something to me. He'd be like, you don't have to apologize. Like he'll see me kind of move in a certain way, and he knew that was because of what I've been through. Even at night, he won't, like, if I'm sleeping, he'll stand by the door and be like, bang. He won't come to the bed, won't touch me. He's learned to not walk up on me. It's certain things that he's picked up on. I'm like, what is he doing? But in his own way, he realized that, I have to be a little bit different with this young lady, because walking up beside her while she's sleeping in bed is normal to most people. But to me, I'm waking up fighting. And before I swing on him again, he stands at the door like, bang, I'm coming in the room, so to give him that, give me that warning that, okay, I'm safe, and it took a while, because in the beginning it was like that. It was kind of like I was very jumpy, very apologetic, and I didn't even realize I did these things. And he was like, you don't have to apologize. I mean, if dinner is, you don't even have to cook, it's whatever, But I did. I used to always apologize when things wasn't done, because I knew if I did prior, if certain things wasn't done, I knew, it's going to be a long night.
Wow. Right. So do you feel now that, like, Mr. Baker, do you feel like you are her biggest hero, her biggest supporter?
Well, I mean, she says that. She says I'm her Superman. I said, nah, baby, I'm just your little man.
But okay.
Do you feel the same question? Do you feel like he's your superhero?
What I feel like he's my best friend. Like, I always saw John as that best friend, because I've always been able to come. It's over 20-some years of friendship, workmanship. He trained me to be the soldier that I was, because he was the one that tried to put me out the military. Remember I told you I wasn't like military ready?
So that was him that was doing all this?
That one. He tried to put me out the army, like legit wrote me up, like was ready to chapter me out, So wow. Here we are, right? And he definitely made me the soldier that I became. So when they told me when they put me with him, if he couldn't get me together, then I was not going to be military material. So he was my last stop. And his decision was put her out. 14 years later, here I am. I'm medically retired. I did my time.
Yes, you got him.
Yeah, she was rough.
In your journey, did you ever seek any like therapy or anything?
Oh yes, definitely. Therapy is what got me here, where I'm at, where I was able to receive and accept love, friendship, help. I had to go see a psychiatrist for about 3 years strong, and it wasn't easy. Me and her fault, it was a violent relationship with my psychiatrist, because you know, she had enough in her to tell me, you know, you're going to have to get past this. And for me to get past the domestic violence, I had to get past the root of why I was being abused, and that was my childhood. So she took me, I had to go through all of that. I had to go and face and deal with people that had their hand in my downfall. If they was living, if they were deceased, I still had to make that conversation with that person to say, this, you did this to me, or you knew this happened to me. You didn't say nothing. You didn't help me. So that's why I didn't feel like when I was an adult and I was being abused that I had anybody to go to, because I didn't have that as a kid. So I blame everybody who had anything to do with me coming up as an adult, because I was a child at one point, and then I became an adult. So whoever had me in their space when I was a kid and then protect me, they are the reason why I allowed these men to do me that way, because I didn't know any different.
Wow. So with that being said, how do you regret any of the things that you've been through? Or do you feel like all that you've been through made you the woman that you are today?
Right. There is no regrets. I just wish that I was able to get out of it quicker, but there's no regret, because I thank God I went through it so I could be the woman that I am today, and that I could be able to tell the next woman that through all of this and what I've been through, I'm talking about black eyes, kicked out of moving vehicles, you know, just it's very bad, brutal abuse that I have to endure. I still have scars right now that's there on my body from the hands of somebody who said they love me, my husband's. I was married 3 times, so I was in love, so I guess 3 times, you know, so it wasn't like it was every Tom, Dick, or Harry, or ever whatever. It was my husband. I love these guys.
Yes. Yes.
And I trusted them.
Now, are you very open with your daughters? Do you sit down with them and just explain to them the importance of immediately talking to you guys and you know, stuff like that with the girls?
Absolutely. And the reason, my purpose in that way is because I was a girl, and to sugarcoat anything is almost still a lie. So I give it to them brutal. I give it to them hardcore. Like me doing this interview right now, I told my youngest daughter, you know, she said, I don't want to be no part of it. I don't want to hear it. I said, well, it's going to be on social media, and it's going to be out there. And both my girls were with me doing all the abuse at some point of their life. So if it wasn't from them hearing me crying in the middle of the night, or me not wanting to get up and do nothing in the middle of the day, my girls are the reason why I'm still living.
That's a blessing. So with that being said, with all the things that you've been through, with this photo that I'm showing you right now, it says, my boyfriend loved beating me every day, but I loved him so much and I don't want to leave him. He said he just tested me to see if I can deal with his anger. He is a sweet guy and very good in bed. Please, what can I do? No insults, please. So what is your opinion on this young lady, and what advice would you give her? And that's for everyone.
Well, I would personally say to her.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Hold your thought. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Please have your thoughts together on what I just showed you, and we'll be right back with the Spicy Gray, oh my Lord, my Jesus, this is such a good time. I'm so sorry.
You got it, sis. You got it. You're doing good.
The Unspoken Heart Discussion Hour with domestic violence.
My oldest actually heard the event. He heard me screaming for help. He was just afraid to get out of the bed.
Tonight, a Sevierville woman is speaking out after suffering what she says were years of physical and mental abuse. from her husband. And the statistics for domestic abuse are alarming. The YWCA says 91% of domestic violence victims are women, and 1 in 3 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime.
10 News reporter Katie Inman spoke with that woman. She wants to encourage other victims facing violence in the home to get help. And we do want to warn you, some of the images and sound in this story may be too disturbing for certain viewers. Katie?
Robin and John, Natalie Cup Compton says she stood in the shadows for years while her husband abused her because she didn't know what would happen to her children. Now that he's been charged, she's on a mission. Another warning, viewer discretion is advised.
You put my kids anywhere near danger and it's going to cost you your life.
Natalie Cup Compton says this is what she heard from her husband when she tried to leave 2 weeks before this happened in February 2019.
I had no idea what was going on for the most part until it was over with.
Her husband, Anthony Compton, was arrested and charged in Sevier County with aggravated kidnapping and assault.
My oldest actually heard the event. He heard me screaming for help. He was just afraid to get out of the bed.
Natalie was taken to the hospital.
But, I came home from the hospital and I still had to be a mom.
She and her husband are in the middle of a divorce after 11 years of marriage, and she says she stayed for her children.
You get stuck. When you're a stay-at-home mom, you can't support yourself or your 3 kids, So then you just don't know what else to do.
But she says she had to break the cycle.
I don't want them to think it's normal. I don't want my son stacked like that, and I don't want my daughter to come home in a body bag.
The YWCA says Natalie's thinking is common.
It's hard to leave because we find reasons to stay because of the kids or because of economic abuse. There are a lot of reasons on that power and control wheel that the abusers use to keep that person controlled and maintained.
And they have advocates for this exact situation.
Because we know that those victims are out there, but not only that, but we want them to know that advocates are out there too.
Natalie also says she hopes to one day be an advocate for women who are in her same situation. We also reached out to Anthony Compton's lawyer for comment, but we did not hear back. Robin and John.
We applaud her bravery for speaking out. Katie, thank you very much. The YWCA says there are several other types of abuse that may not be easily detected. There's physical, emotional, sexual, and psychological, but all usually start with emotional abuse. They say the main way to recognize abuse is spotting a pattern.
So if you are consistently being controlled, you're being isolated, if you're being intimidated, or you're being manipulated.
If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence or any kind, there is help. Please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline number. You see it on the screen. Lines are open 24/7. It is free. It is confidential. We also have a list of local resources for victims in the As Seen on TV section of the WBIR 10 News.
We're going to move to the forecast. And wow, yet
Hi, welcome back to the Spicy Gray, the Unspoken Heart Discussion Hour. With that last clip that we had right there with the picture of the young lady, what is your opinion on that? What would you tell this young lady?
That she could not put herself before him. She definitely have to know that she deserved way more. And when we say we love someone who brings so much pain on us, it's almost like you love them more than you love yourself, but that pain they endure on you is not love, and she's not alone, and it's not easy. So, but she definitely deserves so much more.
Ms. Tisha, do you have an opinion on that?
Yes. if I was to be able to speak to this young lady, I would first just take her in my arms and hug her, because something somewhere in her life is missing. To feel that you have to put up with a man hitting you, as he said it, to test her to see if she can handle his anger. It's something wrong with him, but I'm more concerned about her. I would just take her and hug her and try to get her help, because it's something internal. Kind of like Tish was saying, it starts way back from when this lady was a little girl. Something happened in her life that made her feel or even think that it is okay to accept someone putting their hands on you, your eyes shut, and who knows what else is on your body, that we can't see. But that is not okay. So she needs to be loved on, and she needs to be just told that this is not okay. This behavior is never okay.
What is your thought on this?
Well, it's just I just I just don't really agree with the whole hitting on women thing. It's real hard it's a very difficult subject to talk about. And I appreciate Miss I cannot remember your last name. I appreciate you for speaking out, and you know I don't really know what to say. This is just a very hard subject to talk about.
Yeah. If the young lady was standing in your face right now and you see her as she is, what would you say to her?
I'll tell her to get help. Definitely tell her to get help. And get away. It's not worth staying in with your kids and watching. I did her say she had kids. Don't never put your kids in a situation, because if he'll do you like that, what makes you think he won't do your kids? Because once you dead and gone, or if he finally kills her, he's gonna work on her kids next if she doesn't get the help that she needs. So I really, really, really.
That's my whole thought on that. If this young lady's hearing me right now, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. You need to get out while you can. That is not love. He does not love you. No man or woman will test you with their fist. Love doesn't come with a fist. It comes with an open hand and a hug, a love to take care of you and cherish you. That is not love.
Yeah. Tennise, I want to give a quick shout out to some of our viewers. We have Angela Fraser. She says, I'm watching you guys. Thank you, Angela. John Baker says, hey, baby. Chef Tish. Cedric Bellany says, ain't Tish. John, yes, she did push the envelope. That was John. John also says, baby, I'm so proud of you. We got Bundy in the house. Thank you, Bundy, for stepping in and watching. We also got our viewer from last week, Eller. She says, survivors usually turn into fighters, not abusers, but strong fighters. So glad you were able to leave. It's not easy. And then Angela again says, we support you, big sis, and we love you. Miss Essence says, my God, you are cared for and there is help. Don't let it keep you or your children from getting help. She's also a survivor. Thank everyone for tuning in today and watching the show.
Thank you. Mr. Baker.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to ask you, okay, because you're not young enough, you have children of your own, and now you have a blended family, and she has 2 daughters. So, what think of a good example that you're showing her girls right
now? One is treating her like a queen. Just showing them how a man should treat a woman.
Yes.
Yeah. Important.
Yeah. So the girls will come to you for like any man advice for?
No, I go to them.
Oh, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
I go to them, and I we have those conversations. Like my baby girl, I like spending time with her. Outside of her mom gets kind of jealous. I don't know why, but for me, because being in the Army all those years and not being able to raise my daughters and have input in them, God gave me another opportunity to do that with my baby girl Michaela. So we just have those conversations.
That's beautiful.
And he definitely took over the role because Michaela's dad was the one that was killed. So he definitely, when I came to John, it wasn't in the sense of a personal, my own selfish reason. Because I had been through so much, I knew that one day my day gonna be, I may not be here, but I still had these two kids. So regardless of him and I ever actually connected and became husband and wife, he was the one that I knew that if anything happened to me, these were where my kids would go to.
Yes.
Period.
I'd like to thank you for sharing your story with us and sharing your story with the world, actually. And some women that out there are men that will probably get so much from this. I'd like to ask you, do you have any final words, like, to give the world some nutritional thoughts on others out there that could go through the suffering and whatnot with abuse, and anyone who can find and follow or order, or they can also follow you and order your food too.
That part. Let's talk about that first. I'm on Facebook as Tisha's Homestyle Cooking. Instagram is _real chef Tish. Just put in Chef Tish, Tisha's Homestyle. You'll find me. My website is Tisha's Homestyle LLC.com. Mr. Baker here is the CEO of Tisha's Homestyle Cooking because he deals better with public relations and politically correct, and he can do that better than I can. And that too.
Yeah, she playing that Rihanna song. Work.
So he's definitely, you can get a hold of him. My number is 210-414-7718. Mr. Baker is 832-269-8707. Our businesses we work together. He works with me, I work with him. We both leaders over here. We both work equally together, but I'm the one that's in the kitchen with the food. He can't tell you no ingredients. He can't tell you nothing in the food. The only thing he can do is drop it off. So don't get it twisted.
Hey, Tish, give me the number again. Can you say your?
It's 210-414-7718. Applause, because he is my management too. Like, that's so crazy. He's my husband, but he manages my career as well. So he is my manager, my management. So if somebody want to book me, when I say book me, that's more out of the state, bigger events. And he will be the one. That's 832-269-8707, which is my management, Applause Management. To my women, I'm gonna say my women first. Because domestic violence does not have a sex. Men and women both can be abused. But just solely for my women right now, I want them to know that even though you think you cannot, even though you feel like you cannot see through the next stage of free or not hurt or no pain, there is light. And that's so cliche, but there is light past all of that. And there is love after that. To love and to receive and to have love, you have to be okay with being loved. It feels weird. It feels weird. It feels kind of like something is off. And that's that journey of going through that change and you becoming that woman you supposed to be in life. And that's becoming a strong, independent, dependent, black, white, brown, whatever woman you are. Own your pain, own your testimony, own what you've been through, because that's your foundation. And to my brothers that's out here being abused by women, my number is 210-414-7718. So tell them to call me if a woman abuse you.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, we are there for you all too, because men won't tell their stories either, but there are men out here being mistreated by women. Then there are women out here that are not doing men right, and it's not okay. And I do not agree with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Period.
Do you have any food for thought?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Men, women, just like Tish said, get out. Get out. You are worth it. You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are loved. You are needed. Get out. Do not let anyone take your self-esteem. Do not let anyone take your pride. Get out. You are loved. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. I would just like to say, the same thing with Keisha. Just get out and get the help that you need. Same with the men. Just get the help that you need, get your counseling, get your resources, get your life back, and get back into the real world. Because I know it's a dungeon in there. So just get out.
I would like to say for the men and women out there, no one needs to take your crown away. You are loved. God loves you. There are people out there to help you. There's a family violence prevention number here flashing across the screen. And if you feel like you can't get out, you can do this in secret. You can get out. There's the police department. There's so much out there for you. The numbers are here flashing on the screen. Write it down secretly. Get out. If you got family out there to help you, take it. Leave. It's better to run than to die. I'd like to thank you, Miss Tish, Mrs. Tish Baker. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you, Mr. Baker, for sharing
it.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Spicy Gray, because Spicy Gray is another young lady that I watched her for a long time before I don't even think she knew that I had been through what I've been through, but I watched her because of that connection and she didn't know. So I have to really give Miss Spicy Gray so much love, because she is a part of my come through. And I never forgive her for being so strong in her message and her platform. So to Miss Spicy Gray, I love you, I thank you, and I appreciate you. And I'm gonna bring some lemon pepper wings.
Yes. Well, with the closing of the show, I have an announcement. So we have our next show with the experience for men that go through abuse. I'm sorry if I mispronounced this. I apologize up front. Vandrea Hampton. From 7 Central and 8 Eastern Time. I'm sure it's going to be a hot topic. Please call in with your questions or type it in the communication. And with that being said, Miss Spicy Gray, we miss you, and I'll be happy when you come back and get well soon. And we love you.
Love you, Spicy.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Never spicy.